Today on 16-Bit Game Reviews, I look at a box, I play a game, and finally, is the Controller Pro U any good? Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Controller Pro U for the Wii and the Wii U. Now what this is a third-party controller for the Wii U. It's one of the first third-party controllers which I've seen which is specifically designed for the Wii U in mind. So let's dig in and figure out if this controller is actually good. The Controller Pro U is supposed to be a Wiimote and a Wii Classic controller built into one. As you can see, there's the RF lens for both the Wiimote and the Wii Classic controller. It does work as a Wiimote, and it has the right amount of buttons for the Classic controller. Sadly, no Wii Motion Plus adapter, so you don't get the stylish rubber casing which would come with it. However, as an added bonus, if you have a Wii U, you can actually use this thing as a Wii U Pro controller. Or so it says on the box. Realistically, the Wii U sees this as a Wii Classic controller, not as a Wii U Pro controller. So that's marked down for the controller. However, it functionally looks like a Wii U Pro controller, minus the fact that it has a Super Nintendo type colored buttons and layout on the front. It actually includes the start and select buttons like a Super Nintendo controller would have. Yes, very. Holding it in my hands, it feels like an actual controller. It doesn't feel like a third-party controller. It feels like almost like a first-party. But there are qualities of the controller which don't necessarily meet the grade of a proper first-party controller, like the Wii U Pro controller. Yes, they are responsive and they feel excellent. However, when you decide to press them against the plastic casing, you can feel the friction between them as you're turning it around. When you're moving at high pace and you're trying to focus on getting that high score or that extra kill, you won't really notice it. However, you will notice it when you're doing slow movements or anything that just doesn't involve haste. Just as another note, if you click the analog sticks, they're not actual L and R3 buttons. They are the A, the Y, and B buttons. The left analog stick is B. The right analog stick is either Y or A. I haven't figured it out. It might change depending game or depending what the layout is. I'm not sure. The face buttons are very nice. The X, A, B, and Y buttons are like a Super Nintendo third-party controller. The actual Super Nintendos are a bit too stiff by my books, but the buttons are nice, they're loose, in a good sense, and they're very responsive. I like the feel of them, and they're very nice. In fact, the Y and X buttons are concaved like a Super Nintendo controller. The start and select button on the Super Nintendo part it's nice. If it's glossy, it almost feels like it's a rubbery button like the Super Nintendo, but it's not. It's a soft plastic. The other select and start button is right from a Wiimote, so nothing too new here. The home button just like the other two. The power button actually takes a bit to turn on the system. You have to hold it for about 5 seconds before the system will actually turn on, but minus that minor inconvenience, it's still a good button. But when you come to the top of the controller, you start to come to the problem childs. The L and R buttons are okay, but when you come to the ZL and the ZR buttons, it's not good. It's their actual buttons like the Pro controller, but they just try to hide it so that they're like triggers. They want them to be like triggers like the PS4 or the PS3 or the Xbox 360, but they were stuck with buttons, and from the feel of it, they just feel uncomfortable. They feel almost feel sluggish when you press them. It won't actually affect your gameplay, but it just feels uncomfortable to actually press the triggers, which is sad because that was a highlight of the Wii U Pro controller, because they did the triggers like buttons, but they also felt nice. Another markdown for the Controller Pro U. By far, this is the worst part of the Pro Controller U, is the D-pad, because it is loose. You feel as if you're trying to be playing on ice. The D-pad is loose. When you run to the right, you might accidentally hit down, even though you haven't moved your thumb. I've had cases where I was playing Super Mario World where Mario would just duck with just me holding down the right button as I'm moving right. Sometimes it was become unresponsive, and other times I just didn't even know what happened. There is a fix to this. You have to pop the back lid off the controller and actually add a bit of padding to the bottom of the little tab that's extending from the bottom of the controller. It's not that hard to do. You just need some hot glue and a bit of piece of paper. Sadly, I can't show you how to do that because when I was screwing this back in, I accidentally stripped one of the screws, so it is permanently stuck shut. But it is a fixable issue, and when you fix it, it's not a bad D-pad. It's comfortable. Sure, it's flat with a little bit of concavity to it, but it's not the worst D-pad I've ever used. In fact, it's almost as if they took it right off the Wii U Pro controller. So with a bit of work, it could be the Wii U Pro controller's D-pad. Think of it that way. I can spend days, maybe weeks, nitpicking every single aspect of any controller, but what matters with these controllers is when you actually play it, when you actually see it in action like this. Because I'm playing Super Mario World 3D, Super 3D Phil, and I'm having no issues at all. I might even think that I'm playing with the Wii U Pro controller. And when I'm playing the eShop games like Super Mario World, I'm having no issues with the D-pad. Yes, I fixed it, but even if it didn't fix, the analog stick still feels good enough that I can just pretend it's a D-pad. That's how good this stuff is. But this is the best feature of all of this, is when you finally use it as I think its designers meant it to be used as. When you finally get to switch it over to the Wii menu. You click the Wii menu, you go in, and it works. You might have to hit the reset button on the back of it to turn it on. It sometimes becomes unresponsive, but when you finally switch it on, the controller works, and you're on the Wii menu. You're using yourself a controller that's so close in likeness to the Wii U Pro controller that when you play those games on the Wii, it feels special. I can play Star Fox 64 finally with a controller that's comfortable. I can play Super Mario Kart with a controller that I actually really like. Just with that, it's worth the price of admittance. Yes, when I bought this, I got with a 45% discount on it. Sure, I still had to pay shipping, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I mean, unless you don't have a Wii U Pro controller yet, I would really recommend get this controller. It is a must-have for any Wii U owners. I cannot stress how much I would say get this controller. It's the one and only third-party controller which I would say you should ever own. Unless, of course, you have to own it. And with that, thank you for watching. I bought my controller off of ThinkGeek, but I'm pretty sure it's available at most major retailers or online. I would really recommend the ThinkGeek one. It came within a few weeks after I purchased it, and their service there is fantastic. Also, please subscribe to us, like the video, and comment. Our monkeys are getting hungry, and they need comments before they get fed their bananas. Also, Facebook, our Facebook monkey, is also being underfed because of the lack of comments there. So just, send us a like or just say good video on the Facebook. Then that monkey can get fed. And the Twitter monkey's been dead for a while, so we don't really care for that one. So, thank you for watching.